So this is the Making of HellthClass. And this... that's a head. Anyway, we got really lucky on this film. We managed to get a local elementary school to let us use a really nice old classroom, use it for free. The only problem was this clock. That's not a still image, that's a video. The clock didn't work. So to compensate for it, any shot that the clock appeared in, such as this, all had to be rotoed and tracked and replaced with a clock that did work. So we didn't have any dollies or anything, so I had to, of course, stabilize the footage. Then I would take it into Mocha for After Effects and drop in that and that crack over there. So a lot of that sequence was done with just filming a clock that I had in my house at the specific times I wanted, rotoing out, and dropping that in on top of whatever we needed. This close-up, for instance, was taken with a backwards Pentax lens, since that works as macro focus. And then I had to stabilize it and animate it like this. Then I took it into After Effects and added textures behind and reflection map and just overall color correction and a crack. And then this handwritten title. So for more complicated things, like this shot here, this was actually done with a lot of different passes. And because this was the big shot, I wanted to make sure that everything was really, really tight. So we actually did everything on separate layers in 2K so that I could zoom in. And there we go. So that's actually all a 3D layer inside of After Effects, which was then positioned out from each other in space so we could get a little parallax. That way it didn't look like just a still image being zoomed in. For this shot, the dummy was filmed separately because I actually had two different heads made. There was an evil head and a good head. And so I ended up having to do a morph, which is a simple effect. It's basically an 8-frame dissolve with turbulent displace under it. The eyes, unfortunately, were not high-res enough on camera to show up, so I had to repaint those with Photoshop. And then I did a bit of quick animation to make the pupils dilate. Now, for Cameron here, she was supposed to be on a green screen. I forgot my green screen, so green paper works. Rotoed her out, and I really wanted to avoid that hard edge that you get here. So I thought, well, I'll put some hair over it, and then maybe people won't look so suspiciously at it. That hair is actually a brown grass from Photoshop, which was animated on a turbulent displace. I then manually tracked it to her head and kind of added that in on a separate layer. Hopefully that sells the effect. I mean, I think it does, but you know, what do I know? Now, this one here, live action on her, and then a lot of other still images that I had taken on location. She is making contact with it, but as you saw, it's duck lips and just other warp layers and so forth. This, of course, was a mechanical head we made out of foam latex with springs, so had to remove the springs, add shadows, and then roto around till you end up with that. Now, all these other shots are pretty much just a lot of color correction, and we couldn't fill this hallway with fog, unfortunately, because there were a lot of smoke alarms, so we had to do it in the computer. And my favorite is this little detail right here. It says no running. I'm the only one who cracks up over this. I don't know, but maybe there's something wrong with me. Now for shots like this one, the dummy was built with a little binky in its mouth, basically, that Cameron could bite onto. So I had to replace that to make it look like it was actually making more contact with it than it was. Other things such as that are like this drool. Yeah, this right here. That's not real. That was just added in later. I drooled in front of a camera, and I don't even know why I'm showing you this, but track that in, and I'm sure she appreciated that. And then, you know, you tell people not to look at the camera, but sometimes it still happens. So, you know, like right here, you're looking at me. I see you're looking at me, so you zoom in here and you just roto those eyes out and track it and replace it so that it looks somewhere else, like that. I go into more detail about this on the blog, of course.
I'm not gonna read things.
But yeah, nobody wants to read things. So, you know, and then shots like this, it was just, you know, you're moving fast and you don't have a lot of time, so things get left in. So you gotta take the best of what you can and paint it out. Hopefully nobody knows that, although now that I point it out, you probably all will, so hey, that's cool. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and, you know, stay tuned.